Hey there, it's Tom O. Welcome to the Tom Ozone Podcast, Beyond the Blind. I'm joined, as always, by retired regional director for Ducks Unlimited, Bill Brown, and retired Maine wildlife biologist, Brad Allen. And our very special guest today is an icon of outdoor television for nearly a quarter century, the Bear Whisperer, Blaine Anthony. Blaine, it is great to see you again, man.
Nice seeing you, man. Look at us. We're all grown up.
Jeez, I don't know about that.
Not yet.
Man, I haven't seen you forever.
Forever and ever.
I know. I mean, we used to see each other all the time.
I think the last time I saw you, we were installing dock at your house.
What are you listening to these days? What are you rocking out to?
Oh, man. I think the older I get, the more like, I don't want to say the more variety because I seem to still like listen to classic rock and roll. But now it feels like, classic rock and roll used to be AC/DC. And now I feel like, I don't know, man. It's still rock. I won't lie. If anybody finds out anything about me on this podcast, is I just don't care about much, so I just keep it real. Just really dislike country. Anything besides that, I can get down with, I guess.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. I can't handle the twang either. I know you've always been a rocker. I mean, the first time that I met you, I think I was renting DJ equipment off you. You were involved in all the bands around here. You were renting PA equipment to everybody around here, right?
Oh my gosh, you're going back, son. Yes, absolutely, man. I was just telling someone the other day, I was like, I ran sound for the Spin Doctors. Just like random stuff.
That was on the Horde Tour, 92, right?
Yeah. Way back in the day. Oh my goodness. I don't think I ever had, I love the outdoors and I wouldn't trade my job for anything. It's one thing that I was able to keep around for a little bit since 2002 anyway. But I never had more fun than just doing that and not, everything from running sound to, I remember running lights for late 80s for Bon Jovi and Night Ranger, man. I loved it. Best time of my whole life, without a shadow of a doubt.
But I remember one of the funniest stories when I think about you dragging that trailer full of docks down my woods road is we got down there and we finally unloaded those docks. I'm like, all right, boys, you want to smoke one? And then everybody looks at me and they just looked at me. I'm like, what did I miss?
We still do.
Yeah, no. I was like, what did I miss? And you go, didn't you just hear my buddy say he's a Fairfield cop? I'm like,
I still tell that story. Tom's like, okay, well, maybe not right now. I'm just gonna put that in my. Yeah, that's a true story, man. I still tell that story. I bet I've told it 2 or 3 times this year so far. Yeah,
and that's when you were just starting this whole making TV shows, hunting and stuff. I knew you were a guide and you were going down south and working at various outfits. And then you're like, hey, man, I'm making an outdoors TV show. And this was like 02, 03. Is that when it started?
Yeah, 02. Well, I was filming in 02 for 03. That's the technical start of it all. Yep.
And in the beginning, it was what? Something Safari.
It was Maine Safari.
Maine Safari. Yeah. And was it deer? It was deer hunting. This is before you got on the whole bear thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, probably. Way before. We were doing deer. It was just a couple of buddies that were clients of mine because I was guiding. And I said, look at these lame TV shows. Let's do a TV show. We ended up being much, much lamer than those guys. But we did the TV show and man, we had a blast. I tell everybody nothing was more fun than the first 3 years when there was no sponsors, nobody to answer to. We just did what we did. We had our little $299 Walmart cameras and we were just out there having fun, man, making TV. It was awesome.
Now look at you. You're 20 some years into, you've been on actual TV. I mean, this is when you had to get a cable channel to watch outdoor TV shows and all that stuff. And you've been on this entire time. Now it's totally different, but what's that whole journey been like, man?
It's been, for me, to be honest with you, it's been, if I would have made a couple different decisions, I could be, I'm not going to say in a better place, but I'll say in an easier place because the internet's free, right? At the end of the day, TV is not free. TV's insanely expensive. So if, let's say back in 2010, 2011, I was just talking to a guy from Wildcom about this. If I would have taken advantage of the internet, and it would be insane right now for me. In the height of my popularity, when I would go to a trade show and have 200 people lined up around the whole room because pretty much all there was TV. And now, it's just the whole television thing has kind of faded off, and the internet has had its rise. And if I was there at the beginning, because I tell everybody that's going to start a YouTube channel, for instance, and go, man, I kill these great deer every year. And it's like, dude, I hate to tell you this, but nobody cares. Like, if you want to see a big deer get shot, just skip to the next video. Like, it's so hard to be special on YouTube now because it's insanely overcrowded with hunting and this, that, and great stuff. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying that if I would have had the thought to get into it in 2010, because go look at all those guys now that started way back then. They're all just making bank and doing it all from their house and living their best life. I won't say who he is, but I mean, I got a buddy that's doing over 100,000 a month right now, just on social media, a month. And, he was just a school teacher. He gambled that the internet was it, and he gambled right. I was saying, everybody's going to watch their TV. That's ridiculous. I was wrong.
I was the same way about radio. I'm like, we need to have a website for the radio station. I'm like, what are you talking about? You listen on the radio. Why do you nobody needs to see us. Well, I prefer it if people don't see us. You know what I mean?
And now it's, I just did the ATA show last year in January. And the number one thing people said to me, which just blew my mind, because I hadn't been to a trade show in 5 or 6 years, kind of after COVID, that whole thing died a little bit. It's coming back now. And I have 30-year-old grown men that I would hang out with in my normal life come up and go, I grew up watching you. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you grew up watching me? Like, you're a man. But, when you think about it, if someone's 35 years old, they could have been 15 years old watching me.
You started with the Maine Safari, then it was Hitman, then it was then you became the Bear Whisperer, and now it's something else in addition to that, right? I mean,
it was Maine Safari, and then I had a sponsor that said, hey, you're too regional, change the name of your show, and we'll title sponsor your show. We'll write you like a $25,000 check. And I'm like, yeah, what do you want me to call it? I don't care. I'm not attached to anything. And he's like, North American Safari. So we changed it to North American Safari, which then that changed into the Hitmen, which is still on TV. That's on January through June. And then, to be honest, I was going to quit TV back in 2010. I'm like, I'm so over trying to, you just feel like a beggar. You're calling every company going, give me money, give me money, give me money. That's really what TV boiled down to. So I did a 3-month special called The Bear Whisperer. And it wasn't because I was smart, it was because I had a few like bears attacking me on film. And it was supposed to be a joke. And I did this whole thing. I let my hair grow out. I dyed it blonde again, used to be brown. I was just trying to conform to the hunting industry. Sat there with a cup that said Haterade on the side. And I was me for 3 months and pretty much told everybody, if you don't like it, I don't care. And so I was going to quit TV. That ended in December, that 3-month special. I went to ATA because I had already bought tickets and the whole thing. And man, I walked around the show and the people with the money were pulling on my shirt going, we got to talk. How much money do you want? So they're like, you're going to be on next year, right? This Bear Whisperer show. And I was like, of course. So if you guys are going to pay me, I'm going to be on TV now. So that ran forever. Well, not forever. I think 2009 was the first year on the Sportsman's Channel. And then and I'm not sure if I feel like it got old to the viewers of, essentially 3 or 4 episodes, hanging out with Randy Cross, going to bear dens, and then 3 or 4 episodes trapping with Randy Cross. And I just how many times do these guys want to see me holding a cub? Because it was never really about hunting bear over bait and stuff, the stuff you watch every day. I try to do everything about besides that, a lot more bear conservation, calling bears in the springtime, all that stuff. So I was like, I want to start hunting deer again, and that type of deal. So yeah, and I've been through a lot of metamorphoses since, I don't know when that was, 2022 probably. I stopped the Bear Whisperer and just kind of renamed the show, so wasn't having to go to bear dens and do all that stuff anymore. And now we've just kind of landed on this show, Game On is what it's called, and it's just pretty much it's just another hunting show. But I spend every week like just keeping it real and telling all the things that other hunting show producers don't want you to hear. I just say it out loud. The viewer's way smarter anyway. They know it, but they love to have someone that's been in the industry for 24 years say it out loud and say, this is what I did, and this is what you're watching, and this is bull dinky, this is real, so on and so forth.
Did you guys notice the way he brushed right over the fact that he got attacked by multiple bears?
Yeah.
All right. So
It's not what brought us here.
that's not what brought us here, but this is where the conversation is going.
Right.
So, all right. So, what are you talking about? You got attacked by multiple bears.
What? It's not yeah, I mean they just
Not at the same time. Not at the same time is what you're saying. You're not attacked by like 3 or 4 bears at once.
No. Everything from the rare time when a bear stuck his head in the ground blind and then decided he was going to rip the ground blind up the second he saw me. So that was just me and him with a ground blind between us fighting. My cameraman once shot a bear, kind of skimmed it. We tracked it 2 miles up the side of a mountain and grabbed it behind the ears. And he wasn't even a little bit dead. He did this like little gymnastic move because he was faced away from me, and he came up and did a 180 and just 2 paws landed on my shoulder, and I fell back. And that one we got all on film. Another one was I watched, I just call it what it is. I watched a bear get shot in the head. I went to get the bear. But the one thing they all have in common, they have a broadhead or a bullet in them. Like every one of them. There's no exceptions to that. So, but yeah, so they've, I guess hanging out with bears enough has kind of made me numb a little bit. I mean, everybody's, weren't you scared? And, even when I came back and that bear jumped on me and we fought on the ground and my cameraman shooting into that scared me. The cameraman shooting at me and the bear fighting on the ground because I was not sure he'd shoot me and kill me. But yeah, no, I mean, I've never actually been scared. You think I would scream? I got to watch the video back. So I'm like, I'm sure I was screaming. That's scary. But the only thing you hear me say is "damn bear." That's all I said, and then you hear me screaming, "Stop shooting! Stop shooting! Stop shooting!" That's all I kept saying over and over again, like "Stop shooting," because you're gonna shoot me for sure. So yeah.
And we're talking about black bears, right? Or
for sure. I don't. I would say grizzly
bear.
bears
You wouldn't be here, right?
Scare me.
But more than a hog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to share it here, but I too have a bear story where a bear put both his paws on my shoulder and knocked me over. And that one ended up with bullets flying. And just like Blaine said, you worry about the people that are with you shooting you more than, the bear is probably smaller than me. They're a hell of a lot stronger, but I'll take my chances. But yeah, I had a fun story that did not end very well, but I'll share that with you someday. So I know what it's like to be pushed down by a bear with both paws on your shoulder.
And you spent a fair amount of time with Randy Cross, who
I taught
Blaine
him
was just
everything I
talking
know.
about. You taught him everything you know.
I worked for 2 or 3 years prior to Randy when we were trapping bears and doing den work, and then I moved on from bears after I got my master's degree, and Randy took over and became the legendary individual that has handled thousands of bears in Maine. And I saw your show not recently on one of your bear trips when you were with Lisa Kidd Bates and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Mooney was there. Randy.
Yeah, Mooney. I think Well, I think he's running the Bears now.
He is.
Mooney's
He
running
is,
the Bears.
because
He was
Randy's
doing Moose
retired.
for a while, but
Yeah, Randy's retired. But no, I worked with Randy for several years and literally taught him everything I knew about bears. And he just took it to another level, of course. And it was pretty exciting. And those, if you're a bear whisperer, you got to go on a bear den or two. So there's no doubt about that. And have the cubs.
yeah, I've always said that I'm not the smartest bear guy, but I'm smart enough to hang out with the smartest bear guys.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Because guys like you and Randy Cross, you guys forgot more than I'll ever know.
Well,
I promise.
And then,
I promise.
As you indicated, the secret to our success is surrounding yourself with people that are smarter and stronger and everything else, whatever it takes. But that's exciting stuff. And I also saw you. I'm diverting here, but I'll mention it before I forget. But I also saw your hound hunt where you shot a bear with an arrow, and that was an exciting hunt. That was you filmed, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that hunt because my work with the department back then was working with hounds to try to get a better understanding of the method of chasing bears with hounds. We're trying to manage the hunting season. I think in 1979, the bear kill was 1,600, and we were worried that it might have been too many. And so we started wanting to know more about the methods, and I chose the hound hunting and chased bears through the North Maine woods for the next 3 years. I was in pretty good shape back then. Those bears can run like hell, especially
that's what I was going to say. That chasing
80,
those bears up the side of the mountain is just not. That was the one and only one I ever did in Maine.
Yeah.
Because of how out of shape I found out I was when I had to chase the bear across the mountain. Every other one I did in North Carolina because it's all flat land.
Okay. Now that came through in your video. That it kicked your ass. Yeah, but it was a good bear. It was a nice hunt, nice kill.
Yeah. Yeah, got pretty lucky. Old John Green from New Hampshire came up, helped me out. So
hounds did their job that day. That was awesome.
For sure.
It seems like you're more of a bow hunter now than a gun hunter. Is that correct?
I'm gonna say yes. But that being said, everybody talks about what a hardcore bow hunter they are. So to me, a hardcore bow hunter in the state of, because I don't hunt whitetail in Maine with a camera. Because I don't want to deal with the logistics of DirecTV and Comcast and all their rules about how I'm supposed to shoot a deer. So, but I call hardcore bow hunters real bow hunters, which I don't consider myself. I do bow hunt more than I rifle hunt, that's for sure. But a real bow hunter hunts the month of October in Maine during archery season. Then when gun season starts and, Residence Day hits, they climb the tree with their bow and they continue to bow hunt. To me, that's a hardcore, real bow hunter. And I honestly don't know too many of those.
So you take advantage of the October. You're saying they shoot the October season and then it's done for them.
Exactly. I mean, for me, because they're like, oh man, when, they talk about when you start bow hunting. I started bow hunting because in Maine, you can start hunting earlier. So I went to Cabela's, got a $299 bow with the sight and everything all set up in it, and said, I'm now a bow hunter because now I can start hunting in October. And, in Waterville, Maine, I can start hunting in September. So, I did it because it was an opportunity. Now, the first time a buck walked in front of me, it was in Sydney, Maine, actually, on the Pond Road, on Snow Pond. a buck got in front of me, and the rush I got was just like, man, it's like I thought I got a rush when I was gun hunting, but that was just unreal. Something you can't describe, winning touchdown at the Super Bowl or something. And so then I definitely got a lot more into bow hunting at that point. But I promise you, when rifle season starts in Maine, I grab my rifle. And the other thing I'm going to say is that's why I said in Maine, because Maine is as far as every place I've ever been, bar none, the hardest place to kill a mature buck that I've ever been into in the United States. And there isn't too many people I know that hunt more than I do or take more hunting trips than I take. But when I go to Texas or Illinois or Missouri, any other place, number one, they almost don't have gun seasons. A lot of those places have like 1 week shotgun season. The rest is all archery. So that turns you into a bow hunter in a hurry. But the amount of deer you see and the amount of, 4-year-old, 5-year-old bucks that you see is off the charts. Like hunting them here is just like, and unless you've been doing it forever, I saw you had Rick Labby on, and you're chasing those things down in the snow and doing all that kind of cool stuff that I have no clue how to do. It's a lot more than just following tracks. That's for sure, because I've tried it. But Maine is just a tough, tough place, and if you got a gun in your hand, I don't know how you would even kill a deer with a bow during gun season, like because those deer just get smart, and man, it's crazy here.
Well, you talked about some restrictions that are placed upon you by the networks. What is that about kill shots and stuff like that? What's that?
Yeah, it's kill shots, and to be honest with you, the most of those rules that they force us to abide by they probably should be rules. That simple. It's the animal can't be quartered to you too much. Well, I got news for you. You probably shouldn't take the shot if the animal's quartered to you too much. Wait for it to turn broadside or quartered away or whatever. There's some that it's like, I don't know. Like what, one time I went out to it was Colorado or Nebraska or one of those Western states. And we followed this mule deer everywhere. We finally found him bedded down, climbed up on top of this hill, shot him, send it to the TV network. And they're like, you can't shoot a bedded animal. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. They never aired that show. It was all a waste camera wise anyway. TV show wise anyway, because you can't shoot a bedded animal. So there's another one. You can't take headshots on deer. I think we all know if you hit a deer in the side of the head, he's going to die, and probably the fastest way possible. But they do not allow that just because of how it looks, right? Not because it's, so there's a few things like that. Most of them are super reasonable. And again, just getting back to the youth, it's stuff we shouldn't be showing the youth to even attempt to do, because it's just not the right thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, they're my point, I guess, mostly of that when everybody's, you get this new show and they'll call us and, hey, edit our show and do this and do that. We're going to show it the way it really is. And I go, no, you're not. They're not going to allow you to show you the way it really is. So part of my biggest problem is, back in the day, I'm going to say 2017. I actually know the year, but I smoked cigarettes. Bro, you cannot show tobacco products. So you want to talk about frustrating a cameraman? Like, because I'm chain smoking all the time. They're like, bro, you got to put the cigarette down. Like, if you got a cigarette, we can't show it. And I actually submitted a show. Ended up re-editing it. The guide had chew in his mouth, and they sent the show back because it was obvious the guy was using tobacco. So we can't show. If you ever watch hunting shows, you'll notice that when people are sitting around camp and they're hooting and hollering and having a good time, there's those red Solo cups, because, man, you can't show a beer can or a bottle of liquor in the background. So you can't show tobacco, can't show liquor. So there's a lot of rules like that. That's like, well, that don't make sense. Everybody has a beer when they get back from, deer hunting and stuff like that. But so that's just some of them, I guess. I'd have to be reminded, but yeah.
What are your other favorite places to hunt? Probably Canada, right? That's what most people say.
Canada is probably my favorite hunt to go do, the spring bear hunt, but that's because of camp life, not because it's a bear hunt or, anything like that. I just have the most fun at that camp than with Gerald Miller. Then I have and everybody always gets a shot at a bear. So no one's ever stressed that they're not going to get a bear. Obviously people miss them and stuff like that. But my favorite place to be, my favorite place to hunt and kill a deer is definitely Maine. There's nothing like it. And, I'll take all the deer professionals, TV deer professionals out there. I won't name them. I've named them before on my show, but I won't on your podcast. Come to Maine. You're a great hunter. Come to Maine. Or does that only apply if you can afford 4,000 acres in Kansas and someone to manage your farm and dedicating the whole thing to kill a 180-inch deer? Because you come to Maine, I own 1.5 miles behind my house. I'll give you full range to it. Come show me how it's done.
So is there a community of OG deer hunter TV guys, that you run into at the shows and stuff like that? And is that like a fraternity of some sorts, or?
Probably not. Unfortunately, the hard truth is my favorite joke is I got the second best TV show on the TV network. And they go, well, who's first? They go, everybody else, just ask them. So the industry is just full of, especially in the producer world, like people making TV shows. I got into this to be fun. It's still fun. It's funner than it's ever been. And other people just think they're awesome hunters. And they're kind of behind the scene haters about everything. What do the kids say? Low key haters about everything. So there's really no fraternity because everybody thinks they're the best and everybody's below them. And it's very weird and awkward. When I won my Golden Moose, whatever that is, the award.
For the actual TV show.
Yeah.
For what was that?
Yeah.
Outdoor Channel that had the Golden Moose Award?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. So I was up against tons of great guys. I mean, the TV shows I felt were better than me. I ended up winning, but the moral of the story was I wasn't even in the room because I just can't stand the big heads. Like, that's just me personally. Like, I just want to hang out and have fun and have a beer and talk about a hunt you did or whatever. And these guys are just, and I'm just saying most because it seems like the bigger they are, the more legit they are and the less big head they have. I'll say that as far as the people I know in the industry. But there's not really this fraternity that you think there is. You think there's this big brotherhood out there. And we definitely have friends in the, I have, Mountain Lodge Outdoors and just people that I like a whole lot, Michael Waddell and those type of people, like really, really awesome. But the outdoor industry is not what it appears to be when you're watching television of all these happy-go-lucky, everybody hates that you have this sponsor. And why do they sponsor you? Because my show's so much better than you. And that is pretty much rampant and nonstop in the industry all the time. And the viewers don't get to see any of that, right? Everybody acts all humble and whatever, but it's not really like that on television.
So who pits you guys against each other? The sponsors or the network?
It neither, honestly. Like, the network I'm on, the Pursuit Channel, they are the most down home, country, straight up Alabama, awesome people you ever want to meet. And the sponsors definitely don't. They just want to sell stuff. And if you're a venue to do that, they're going to sponsor your show. And this is all very behind the scenes, so it's nothing public. unless you're hearing me say it, you don't know what's happening. There's no way for you to know it to happen. If I was at the SHOT Show, for instance, and I won't name names, but I can think of a half a dozen guys that would walk up and hug me that do nothing but call, that guy shouldn't be on TV. He's a clown. I don't know why people sponsor him. Blah, blah, blah. They just constantly talk so much smack, it's a little teeny community. So you hear about everything everybody says. It's just bananas. I feel like it's strictly like the big heads out there that think they're honestly the best hunters, the best TV show hosts, the best this, the best that. And, the reality of what we do is we're not paid to hunt. We're not paid to be great hunters. We're paid to entertain people. Because the bottom line is the best hunters I know on this planet, and I know some ones that are just mind-blowingly good. They all have one thing in common. They don't want anything to do with a video camera or publicity or anything like that. They just go out and hunt because they love it personally. I feel like the second you even want to be on TV, you're losing so much of the hunt itself, because so many things have to go right, and there's so many rules that the FCC makes you abide by. There's times where television ruins your hunt. Right up to, geez, I didn't get to kill anything, but now what do I do? Because that's an episode that you were supposed to make. Now you got to go find something else to kill. All of a sudden you're squirrel hunting or something, just to make that episode. So yeah, it's very behind the scenes. But as far as that fraternity thing, I think there's a lot of us that are friends, and a lot of us that are legitimately the most awesome people, down to earth you ever want to meet. And but the majority is the exact opposite. I got to get you an interview with like the TV network, so that they can tell you stories of producers that call in and talk to them like, hey, how come I'm not this? It's obvious I'm the best show on your network. Like it's almost insanity. Like I don't even get it. Like I think it's because it's not like a UFC fighter. I co-host a show with Tim Sylvia, the Maniac, 5-time
Sure.
UFC
Oh, yeah,
champ.
Tim Sylvia. Yeah. I actually met Tim Sylvia before he became Tim Sylvia. He came to a gig we had at Bull Moose Music in Bangor, where we had Tony Atlas's wrestling group, which was out of Lewiston, come up there and do a demonstration. He showed up. He's like, I want to be a wrestler. And he was going to be Tim Burr, a lumberjack. He was going to, his gig was going to be, it was going to be a lumberjack. He was going to come out with the axe and the whole thing. He was going to be Tim Burr and was going to be a wrestler. And he was in with Tony Atlas, dude. And I was there for it. And then all of a sudden I see him on UFC, and he was kicking ass on the Ultimate Fighter and stuff. It was just mind blowing. That just happened very quickly, but he was a giant dude.
Oh, dude, he the very first episode we ever did together, I sat on like 6 old yellow page phone books just to like get to his shoulders. Like he's a monster.
Yeah. No, he was super nice guy. And yeah, I remember talking to him that day because he was interested in getting into whatever, wrestling or UFC, and he didn't care what.
Dude, that's just good. Dude, I promise you, he usually comes up in October. But when he comes up, we'll take a half a day and fly up there and do a podcast with you, him and me. It'll be fun.
Oh, that would be great. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. And screw that. We'll take you guys duck hunt. Do you bird hunt at all? I mean, I
don't, man. I've never even been. And look, I won't lie. I have 30 pet ducks. So it's like, I don't want to kill duckies. They're all cute.
Well, we can take you grouse hunting or geese. Geese are a pain in the ass. They just shit all over everything. You'll kill a goose, won't you?
I will kill a goose. Yes.
Right. Well, we can probably arrange something like that. But just going back to your hunting background, if I remember correctly, you started as an adult, right? Becoming a hunter.
Yes, absolutely. I was from New Jersey. I ran big multi-million-dollar companies, wore a suit to work every day, company car, company Jaguar even. And came up to Maine, and it really started in Fairfield, Maine. I lost it was a Texas Hold'em bet that I couldn't cover. And
Wait,
the
hold on.
deal was
What is this? What is this now?
yeah. So I couldn't cover the bet. So he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll your cover will be you have to go hunting with me if you lose." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right." I lost.
What was
So
it, the next morning or what? He's like, "You're going hunting with me
it
tomorrow."
quite literally was the next morning because my brother was trying to get me to hunt. So I had bought the hunting license, and I'm like, I'm not going to go kill one of them beautiful little things. I changed my mind. It ain't going to happen. I swear, dude, I was so scared. I was looking for like orange coveralls, orange face paint. I thought I was going to get shot. Like I was, and if it didn't happen that morning, it was behind my brother-in-law's house, Jeff Zimba, and some does came walking across this ridge. I shot one, and it ran right towards me. Ended up dying like 10 feet from me, but we dragged it out. That's back when it actually snowed during deer season down here, and dragged it out. And I remember trying to gut it. Everybody's helping me. I think Paul Stevens might have even been there that day, but and Jeff Zimba, my brother-in-law, looked over at me and said, "What do you think about that, bud?" And I looked up at him. I said, "I'm going to figure out a way to do this for a living." And that was the beginning.
Nice.
That was the beginning.
Good story.
I won't ask what you used for a gun, but obviously, if you couldn't find a firearm at Jeff Zimba's house, there's something wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure I borrowed one. Yeah.
And you got one that day. Your first day hunting, you got a deer.
My first day hunting, and just I'll give you a little backstory that's a little bit funny about it. I was sitting there in the snow, drawing smiley faces, having an ADD attack, going, "This is the most boring, stupid thing anybody could ever want to do." And I said, "You know what? I'll go get a loan. I'm not doing this anymore." And I stood up, and when I turned around, there was those deer. And I leaned the gun on a tree, and I went to shooting ranges and stuff, so I felt like I was a good shot. I was a good shot that day. And after that, I was just an absolute addict. That next year, and this is no TV. That next year, I think I spent every penny I had and did 7 whitetail hunts around the country. I just wanted this thirst for knowledge of hunting in general, but mostly hunting big game, whitetail. The year after, I did an elk hunt. And then I think the year after that, I did my first bear hunt with a guy named Paul Thomas. And I was just addicted by watching bears. That's back when, I'm not beating up the state of Maine, but that's back, in the day when you could actually sit 5 times and see 25 different bears in a week. Everybody in camp could. So I did that. And I was so amazed by watching bears and how smart they were and how they were thinking, like they were making decisions and thinking, unlike just the natural instinct of a whitetail, just, boom, run away, bad smell, whatever, where you just sat there and watched bears make choices. And I just became enamored with bears. And that's kind of like how that all started.
They are enamoring.
They are.
Oh, it's fun when you're sitting in a tree stand and a bear comes into a bait and it looks up at you and they come over to the ladder. They take a couple of steps up the ladder. 'Cause I don't know. They're trying to figure out what you are, why you're there. And it's like, please don't come any further. I don't want to shoot you.
Good stuff.
And the thousands of bears that we've cornered in dens and sent 110-pound girls in with a hypodermic needle to drug them, and hardly ever did anybody ever get hurt. I mean, they're just wonderful creatures. I mean, they're a symbol of the Maine forests. They smell good. They're smart. They get big. They're good to hunt. Plenty of them. I mean, it's all great. I'm in love with them too.
I'd rather have duck paws on my shoulders than bear paws. I'm sorry.
Less likely
Me
to get
too, for the
mauled.
record.
Make for good stories, though.
Yeah, that's right. Since you are the bear whisperer, what's something that most people don't know about bears that you could share?
Most people are never going to encounter a bear. I mean, honestly, if I never hunted a bear and I spend the entire 2 months out behind my house, I probably never would have saw a bear in my life. So all you have is, because you don't hear about bears except for when a surveyor in Canada gets, attacked by one because he got between a sow and cubs or whatever. So for me, I think it's probably just um, that perceived danger. And I think it's good in some aspects. I think that's why people like come hunt them, and they get an additional rush from hunting a bear because it's something that can bite back. If you don't play your cards right, technically can bite back, I guess. So yeah, I think that, I mean, there's tons of bear facts that I've been taught by guys like Randy Cross that are fascinating. But, as far as an in general thing, I would just say, there's bears everywhere. If you go to the North Maine woods or just even up to Bingham, Maine, and you walk, these gravel roads, you probably are, if you walk 4 miles, you're within 100 yards of a bear probably. He's not coming out to eat you. Doesn't even want to eat you. If anything, he just ran a mile into the woods because you walked by. So, yeah, I would say that's it. And how much they think, they make decisions, which is just mind blowing. Like they think about things. So that's the coolest thing I like about them, without a shadow of a doubt. That whole their personality. But you have someone on your staff there that knows more than me about that stuff.
Well, I was listening to the question and to your answer. I agree 100%. And the first thing that came to my mind was people don't realize how many there are out there. And if you go to Portland, down on the waterfront there, half the people you talk to don't even know there are bears in Maine. I mean, when we had the referendum where we were going to lose bear baiting and stuff, we learned that very quickly. And but your other point about walking through the woods, I had some study bears once where I had 4 or 5 female bears, all with cubs, in a township right behind my camp. And I used to want to try to sneak up on them and observe them, just watch the interaction. And I almost never saw them because going through the woods, I probably sounded like King Kong going through the woods, but I could track them with the radio telemetry I had. And as I walked through the woods, I could see that they were just fanning out away from me, such that I had this red sea in front of me of no bears because they were all just moving away. And as I got to the Jack Mountain Road, they all just feathered right back into where they were before I disturbed them. And, it's, I think, just like Blaine said, people don't realize that we might have 40,000 bears in Maine. And we need to hunt them. We need to hunt them very much.
But, I drove in 20 some years. I drove 1.2 million miles in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont.
Yeah.
I saw 3 bears in my travels.
Is that right? Yeah.
So, you'd think you'd see
Yeah.
them somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not that I wasn't watching, but I just never saw them.
Interesting thing that Blaine touched on is black bears do kill people.
Yeah.
They
do.
They've killed 25 in North America in the last 20 years or something. And in the instances where black bears kill people, it might be the surveyor that he described out in Saskatchewan or something, but they actually have been known to hunt people and kill them. And, it was a predator-prey relationship. And, you got to respect that, even though the ones we see in the dumpster and the bear cubs that are crawling over Blaine when he's out with Randy Cross, I mean, they're cute as hell, but they're they can be formidable. And you got to respect that. I mean, that's just the way I feel about them.
Well, they have the physical ability to do it. It's just if they're an asshole or not, right? Are there just some asshole bears?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Randy calls them, El Diablo bears or something like that. But even as second year cubs, I mean, Randy will reach in to grab one, and they just. I think National Geographic got that one. That cub just ripped the skin right off of Randy's arm and 911 in the woods. He had to go to the hospital and the whole thing. They're just, some are mean. All the videos you see, it's like they're curling and climbing in your jacket.
Yeah.
But man, you get the wrong den, and those cubs are quite literally trying to rip your face off.
Yeah.
And they're this big.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But I think that gets back to that fascination of every bear eats differently. I've seen bears take something out of a bait bucket. We had one that was taking every bit of dog food and making a perfect pile beside the bait bucket and eating all of the meat and all the donuts and all the pizza pockets, but he would not touch a piece of dog food. I mean, it's just, but then the next bear comes in and just loves the dog food and won't touch. So the way they, they're all different. They all just, there's jerk bears and there's awesome bears and there's ones with this appetite and that appetite. It's insanely fascinating bears, and you never know which one you're going to get. I was just doing a, Jump or Lisa Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I got my Maine moose permit and I went up to their place in the Allagash, and they took me all. I ended up getting my moose, but they were my guides up there, Jake and Lisa.
Absolutely.
And I did like a little remembrance of the bear dens, but the ones that people love are like the ones trying to rip Lisa's face off that we got on film, just slapping her, just trying to whack her and pull the pole out of her hand and all that good stuff. And then obviously the runners are fun to watch, but yeah, it's just, and the personalities are just, most bears, like most people, are just kind and want to mind their own business.
Yeah.
But like some people, there's bad ones out there.
Yeah. And our encounters as biologists, we're putting them in compromising situations every time. We're either trapping them and cabling them to a maple tree, or we're pushing them in the back of a den where there's a 200-pound female bear that has 3 baby cubs that she just had 6 weeks ago. And it's like, you can't really blame them for being upset because of the conditions we put them in. So you got to take the good with the bad.
After doing God knows how many hundreds of TV shows and episodes and stuff like that, there must be some that stick out in your mind.
My most memorable would be I was hunting in Ontario, and I had tagged out. It was just a pretty basic bear over bait hunt, and I think it was Wednesday, and the outfitter came up and he's like, "Hey, my daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, said, would you take her hunting? She would just like be crazy, like excited if the bear whisperer that she's been watching on TV took her bear hunting."
Nice.
I said, "Yeah, what do you want me to do though?" And he's like, "Well, there's places in Ontario that, Americans can't hunt." And a tractor trailer load of cake frosting had flipped over on the highway up there. They had dragged it to a junkyard, and the bears broke into the back of that tractor trailer, which was laying on its side. And they had to close the junkyard. It was literally surrounded with police tape. So if you could imagine, there was the trailer that had the cake frosting in it, and there was a perfectly fine trailer here that was empty. And so we climbed up in the back of this semi trailer, and we waited for bears to come. And I got this girl, no guns were allowed, so she had a little kid's bow from Walmart, it looked like to me. And so I'm sitting there, I'm going, this is just ridiculous. There's just old junk cars everywhere. It's literally a junkyard. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting by the door of the 18-wheeler. My cameraman and the girl was sitting behind me, probably 10 yards. I don't know if it was even 10. Yeah, maybe 10 yards, in that vicinity anyway. And they were sitting on chairs. And I see this bear come. And so I stood up, and one of the doors of the semi was closed, and I was hiding behind it. And I watched the bear go by, and I go, "Oh my God, that thing is humongous. Like, it's a giant bear." And it walked by and it was snapping its teeth and obviously smelt us. And you could tell that was his junkyard. That was his eating area. And it walked by snapping its jaws. And I'm watching it. I'm holding a camera here. I got it down by my leg. And it's almost like it got so far it couldn't smell us anymore, and then it came back. And when it came back, it lifted itself up and put its paws and from his chest up. If it didn't happen on camera, no one would believe me. It was staring into the 18-wheeler at that 13-year-old girl and my cameraman. And I'm sitting there going, "What is this thing doing?" And then I see it takes its kind of left arm and its right leg, and it just puts its leg on that bumper, and it's coming into the trailer. And I remember thinking, like, I can't let this bear in the trailer. I'm going to be a Tim Treadwell story or something. And so I decided I was going to tackle the bear when it was coming up into the trailer. And so I turned around and looked at. I didn't care about anything at that point. I just turned around and looked at my cameraman to tell him to run. Right, I was going to jump on the bear. We were going to fight. And as Randy Cross would say, he'd probably put me in the hospital.
Good idea.
Won't kill me.
Yeah.
And as I bent down to get the bear, I looked at my cameraman to tell him that. And that girl was at full draw, tears just coming down her face, eyes like golf balls. And I just took one step back, and you can hear me say it. I said, "Marty, shoot the bear." Her name was Marty. I said, "Marty, shoot the bear." And I watched that arrow wing past me and hit that bear right in the chest. And he fell over backwards and took off running across the junkyard. We ended up finding him. He ended up weighing 428 pounds.
Wow.
But after she shot, I swear to you, me and that little 13-year-old girl, my cameraman, were like doing Ring Around the Rosies going, "We're alive, we're alive."
Yeah.
Like, it was such an adrenaline dump. Like, it was absolutely my most memorable thing, because I thought I was going to die or get hurt big time for sure. Like, I've resigned myself to it. And when I saw that arrow hit that bear in the chest as he was coming in, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened." So yeah, that's easily my most memorable experience without a shadow of a doubt.
Have you seen her? Have you seen her again since?
To this day, it's funny. We're Facebook friends, and she'll send messages, and she goes, "That day on the way home, you told me everything in my life, it was all going to be downhill from here." Because nothing will be as more exciting as that day. And she goes, I think she's 24 now. And she was like, "You were absolutely right. I mean, there's just nothing even came close to that day."
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty awesome.
That's an amazing story. And it sounds like you had it on video.
Yeah, I had it all on video, because other than that, it's just been some story that, some dude's telling that ain't true. But yeah, nope, had the whole thing on video.
Well, cameramen don't run, so.
That's right.
Yeah, no, he did. He had no place to go in that trailer. I promise he would have run. That dude was scared of bears. I'll never forget. I was in New Brunswick calling one time, and even when I'm calling bears, I'm like, "There's nothing coming. I'm making a racket out here." And I'm using this Coven distress call, and in comes this bear, and he comes around the corner, and he gets 10 yards in front of us. And I swear it was like Freddy Krueger. You could see each claw go cling, cling, cling. You could hear him click on the rock. And the only other thing you hear is my cameraman's voice in the background going, "I'm not paid enough for this shit, man. I'm out of here. This is stupid. I don't know what we're doing here." So yeah, pretty cool.
Very cool.
Duck hunting's so much safer.
Yeah, right.
Hey, can we touch back on this ego thing, which is what I'm going to call it?
Sure.
Doesn't the viewer have final judgment? I mean, they're going to pick the best.
For sure. That's probably the one thing that I learned from let's say the no ego guys whatsoever, which are like, you could take probably the top 10 guys in the industry, and they don't have egos. It's the little guys that do. It's the B industry that does, right? But as far as most of those guys don't project that on TV, which is good. But back to your point, I'm going to say that you're absolutely right. There's nothing you can do. There's not a cool enough song that you can play. It doesn't matter how cool your mom and your wife think you are. The viewer makes the ultimate decision. And fancy camera work and sliders and drones and all that stuff will make no difference if the viewer doesn't like you. Like, it's that simple. And if they even sense an aura that you're not being genuine, um, the good news is most of the time they just tone you out. You're just forgettable. You're just being like everybody else on TV. I mean, I think if anybody's ever watched 4 hours of hunting television in a row, they'll know that what I'm saying is true. Different face, doing the same thing. They climb a tree, they tell you what temperature it is, they tell you what they're hunting. Deer shows up, kill deer, recover deer, pose with the deer, tell you the story all over again, run credits. It's every hunting show you ever watch. So you're just forgettable if you do that. So, and I think that's why the Bear Whisperer became such a, it is what it is. It was a hit. So, was because it wasn't any of that. And it was me telling everybody to pound sand. If I want to dye my hair blonde, I'm going to dye my hair blonde. If I want to use just for men, I'm going to use just for men. And there's nothing you're going to do about it.
I was wondering.
And
I was wondering about your beard because I know we're similar age, so I was just wondering about that.
Yeah. I'm 60. There ain't nobody rolling around 60 with this beautiful thing, not without a little dye. You know what I'm saying?
But you can't be 5 minutes into one of these shows today and not appreciate the fact the guy wants to be there doing what he's showing you, and the guy's just going through the motions.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
there's technicalities involved there, but boy, there are guys that just are doing it to do it, and then there's guys that do it because they love it.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing, and I think that's where the big head comes from. Like, I don't, if you watch, let's say you've watched my show for 20 years, but let's say the past 10 years or 15 even, you know, you'd probably say the guy's a clown and he just laughs and just has almost too much fun on his show, and he doesn't take anything serious, and that is who I am, generally speaking. So and I think that's where people get so mad because they kill bigger deer, they live in better states, they're better looking. You don't get to make that decision. Just like what you said, you don't get to make that decision. The public makes that decision of whether they think you're great to watch or you're horrible to watch. Unfortunately, they are making that decision, right? And then for the sake of better words, they get butthurt about it. Why does, that used to be the big thing at the SHOT Show and the ATA show. Why does Blaine Anthony have 200 people in line and I can't get one person to even know who I am? It's because you don't get to choose that. You don't get to choose that. And when I say that, I'm not saying that with any kind of arrogance, because I'm sitting here with 200 people and Lee and Tiffany and Waddell's got 2,000, right? I'm just a little guy in their big world, I'll say. But, man, see, I get to use this for the next podcast. You don't get a choice. The production company don't, the TV show hosts don't. The viewer decides what and who they like. And there's guys out there that are like super famous and I'm like, I can't believe that people watch this. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. So all of that all translates into you have no choice if someone likes you, and you have no choice if like I most of the people that hate on me say, oh, he's arrogant. And I'm like, oh, I never met you. Why would you say that? Like, I don't. So obviously I gave that guy that vibe, and I don't have a choice that I gave that guy that vibe. Right. So I don't, yeah, you don't have a choice. That's great, dude. That's great. I'm using that a lot. I'm going to make a whole show.
Feel free to do so. That's what we're here for. But you put yourself out there. What you are is what you are. And you let me decide. Now, if I don't appreciate you in Kansas in a box blind shooting a whatever big buck, that's my choice. If I'd rather watch you tromp through the Maine woods, if that's my interest, that should be my choice. And you will prevail if that is what the viewer decides they want.
Yep.
Well, man, it's been cool to hear what it's like to be a big star in the outdoor TV world and to be from Maine.
And be from Maine. I do love being from Maine. I don't know anybody else that is, and I don't know that I'm the best representative. Maybe if I said "ka."
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Well, we don't say car.
That's right.
We don't say car. We say
That's
car.
right. Yeah, that's
You
right.
know.
Yeah.
Nobody in Maine gives a crap about me or my national TV show or what I do for a living or anything else. And because everybody's like, why don't you move to Ohio? Why don't you move someplace more central so you can go hunting better? You know why? Because I like the Maine people that don't care about me. Because when I, land somewhere else, when I go to even Sportsman's Warehouse in Alaska to buy a hunting license, like everybody else, man, I'm telling, I'm gonna get bombarded by people. At Canada, big time bombarded by people. Maine, nah, I go anywhere. Nobody cares about me, and I love it.
We try to humble people.
That's
here.
why people come here. They go sit at Shaw's Wharf, eat the lobster, and nobody knows who they are.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that with your whole new venture into the social media, you are more popular in Maine than when you were on Pursuit Channel or only. People are like, "Oh wait, this dude is from Maine. He's in Waterville. What? Really?"
Yeah.
It's like
I did a thing with when Northwoods Law was being filmed in Maine, and I think a couple guys from Duck Dynasty was there, but we were all up at I think it was Unity College signing autographs for some sort of conservation something or other. And I mean, just wicked fun. I'd have 20 guys in front of me, wanting to get an autograph. And I think I was sitting next to Martin from Duck Dynasty. Yeah, I think so. But he had 200, right? And he leans over. He's like, "You want me to go ask some of them people to get in your line so you feel better?" I go, "No, I'll stick with the adults." And he's like, "Oh, you got me there," because they're just all kids with Duck Dynasty shirts on. And yeah, we had a really good time. I completely forgot where I was going with that Unity thing. I got sidetracked.
Probably people at that time didn't realize that you were right here. You were like you lived 15 minutes away from Unity College.
Exactly. I probably signed 100 autographs. 50 of those people said, "Thank you for coming all this way. I never thought I would see you here." And I'm like,
I can see my house from here.
"You ever go to Walmart? I'll be in there at some point, I promise."
Right.
Like I live down the road.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to spend this time with you and continued success on the TV and the internet and all that stuff. And Blaine Anthony, Bear Whisperer, Game On. What else should they search?
Hitman.
Yeah. Well, that was the big show, right? I mean, has that been your biggest?
No, Bear Whisperer was easily the biggest ratings wise, I'll say. But Hitman's my love, I'll say, because that's where it all started. Just me and friends out there hunting, and it's still exactly that way. Like if we do a duck hunt or I'm going to bring the cameraman. It's just me and my friends out there hunting. That show has never changed. I've only had one goal, and that's when people watch it, I want them to say, "I want to go hunting with those dudes." That's always been the only thing I've ever wanted on television is for people to go, "Man, that guy has fun in the field." And it's that show still runs exactly like that. Nothing different. There's no TV stars, just a bunch of guys in hunting camp, and we show everything that we can legally show.
Be genuine and be real, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
We're glad that's what you do. And hey, a waterfowl hunt, Hitman, that could be good.
Could be.
I think it's coming. I think is waterfowl season going on? When is that season?
Well, it begins this year. Well, early goose would be September 1st, but September 28th, you can shoot ducks. And if we keep on going till January, 7th this year. So we've got a lot of opportunities for you to get into some.
All right,
we're
100%. Let's do one with me, you guys, Tim Sylvia.
That'd be great.
Maybe I can get costs up. That would just be cool. A bunch of UFC guys, ex guys, Josh Koscheck and oh no, I can't. Those two hate each other. But anyway,
Perfect.
I can get
perfect.
Just like us.
That's right.
yeah, perfect. Fight. But yeah, no, that would be a blast, man. Because Tim is a really good, fun dude. That I mean, he can take shit and he can give it. He's a good dude.
Well, I'm not going to give him any shit. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for spending time with us, man. It's been great. It's been good to catch up with you again, and looking forward to seeing all of your future projects.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me. It's an honor. See, in my world, Tom O is a legend, an absolute legend. You were just the voice. Tom and Mike was like, it was it every day while I worked at night. Like it's pretty awesome, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. We had a good run. We did 33 plus years till he had to fucking kick the bucket, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's life, man.
Gonna
What
happen
are you
to
gonna
all
do?
of us.
Yeah. And now we're doing this, and this is fun too. So I appreciate you being part of it, man. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you, man.
Good to meet you, Blaine.
It
Take
was
care.
fun.
Quack.